What's up? You already know what it is. Your boy Hero Black in this bitch, and we already on Spiderman 1. We already kicking ass. Y'all ready to see?
Redacted from the documentation. Stargate investigated what's known as parasitic.
All right, man. Let's get into it. Let's go. Oh shit! Whooping ass. Oh!
Being to create a trainable and accurate
Who on it?
Of psychic spying. Though the Stargate project investigated many different psychic powers,
Who on it?
such as psychokinesis, the ability to influence the physical world with just the power of the mind, their primary focus was on remote viewing. Theoretically, remote viewing is using the mind's eye to observe and acquire direct information of locations.
I'm having entirely too much fun with this. All right.
Usually, this implies a significant geographical distance between the viewer and the target.
Oh my god, so much ass kicking.
Storehouse on the other side of the world. The target might also be hidden by shielding, such as a file in a locked cabinet. However, these observations may also penetrate through time, as in a number of cases, remote viewers have seen the past or the future. At the time, the Stargate project developed the most rigorous set of protocols and controls.
How do I change the thing?
Research to maximize every session's data quality and scientific validity. And this is pretty important to note because most coverage on this topic unfairly suggests that poor methodology was the cause for the project's death. That wasn't the case. According to the CIA's final evaluation, quote, the experiments are well designed, and the investigators have taken pains to eliminate the known weaknesses in previous parapsychological research. In these experiments, a viewer attempts to draw or describe a target location, photograph,
who else on it?
Short video segment. All known channels for receiving the information.
Is this something I'm supposed to be doing?
Sometimes the viewer is assisted by a monitor who asks the viewer questions. Of course, in such cases,
so stupid ass
the
down.
viewer is blind to the answer as well. End quote. Even with an understanding of the basic process and scientific rigor, it might still be hard to stomach some of the major accomplishments of the Stargate project. One remote viewer uncovered previously unknown details of a hostile.
I ain't get none of that shit. What's up?
Another discovered the world's largest
Who want the chicken?
by the Soviets before
Who want the clout?
Yet another viewer located a lost enemy spy plane that was obscured beneath the African jungle. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. There are easily dozens, if not hundreds of instances where viewers provided key information from the inside, which no radar, telescope, or satellite imagery could possibly see. This is why Stargate's funding was approved on a year-by-year basis for more than 2 decades, at a cost of over $20 million. And if you're a U.S. citizen, you pay for it with your taxes, so you deserve the money. Back then, and even to this very day, it's the opinion of the primary researchers, as well as a number of government officials involved, that the Stargate project provided irrefutable of the existence of remote viewing. And the CIA themselves, when questioned about it in 2021,
fuck.
Quote,
nah.
the CIA officers involved in the program existed to defy rules.
All right.
End quote.
We got a little overzealous.
Why do so many
this time we're gonna use a slightly different strategy this time. I'm finna wrap all these fuckers up. Get your bitch ass up here.
Ignored by the larger scientific community. Is it really that hard to believe in the possibility of psychic phenomena?
I ain't playing with these niggas no more.
But here's the thing about the Central Intelligence Agency. It doesn't matter how fringe the
Get your ass up here.
If it has potential,
Get your ass up here.
We'll explore it. Like in 1955, when they investigated whether Adolf Hitler was still alive and hiding in Colombia, based on 2 witness testimonies.
Once again, the dreaded Asians.
This was never a great city. It's ours.
All right. We already starting off with the bullshit.
She keeps control. They call it the calling.
We're all gonna watch and cheer.
It's about to go all the way down. Who on it?
It's me, facing televised execution by breakfast cereal mascots. Not my happiest day. But let me take you back to an even worse one. The day the Vanderkoys killed my family and left me deaf and mute. So, I made a 3-step plan. Step 1, give myself an inner voice. I took the last one I remembered from this video game. Player 1 wins. Step 2, get
I had that been getting close.
a lot stronger. And step 3, join the team. Welcome to the resistance. Yeah, go team. The mission is simple. Make the Vanderkoys pay for what he has done. Insert crazy action montage.
I ain't having player. Where you at? Who's shooting it?
You have reached your final destination. I'm gonna help you. Stop!
Definitely sounded.
Woo!
Psychic powers, however, have been on the agency's list for a long time. According to the CIA, quote, from very early in CIA's history, we have been interested in whether extrasensory perception, ESP, or other paranormal phenomena, generally called parapsychology, exists, and if
I'm just fighting like I'm.
had operational uses for intelligence. The earliest record our historians have found
I'm fighting like a motherfucker.
memorandum speculating on whether hypnotized people could be used for long-distance communication. We
Oh,
our own research into psychic phenomena until the summer of 1972. End quote. What came in 1972 was the perfect storm. The countercultural revolution of the 1960s brought with it a wave of New Age thinking that renewed mainstream interest in studies of human consciousness and the capabilities of the mind. But perhaps the biggest driver for the CIA and the military alike was the Cold War between the United States and the Soviet Union. The years leading into the 70s were some of the most fast-paced, high-pressure, and paranoid of the entire century. On both sides, it seemed as if the enemy was working harder and quicker, and making non-stop progress toward the ultimate means of world domination. The race between the Americans and the Soviets was in full effect. However, the Soviets had one distinct advantage. They'd been conducting rigorous government-funded studies into psychic phenomena since the early 20s. Without getting into the Soviet Union's own complex parapsychological history, which we'll cover in a future video, all you need to know is that CIA intelligence revealed rapid progress and fear-worthy successes.
Okay, I can't swing.
They also knew that by 1970, the Soviet Union was spending 60 million rubles per year on psychic experiments, and by 1975, that number had rose to over 300 million. Was the potential of remote viewing, because his psychic spying ability seemed to pass through geographic barriers and physical defenses like nothing. In 1977,
Sit your bitch ass down.
Congressman Charlie Rose argued in a meeting with representatives from every state. It seems to me that remote viewing would be a hell of a cheap radar system, and if the Russians have it, and we don't, we're in serious trouble. End quote. Little did the world know, though, that a top-secret psychic project was already underway, and it had been for 7 years. At that time, this project was codenamed Gondola Witch, and it would
Get 'em.
eventually become Stargate. But at the very beginning, the summer of 1972, it wasn't called by any name. In fact,
Okay, that's what we need.
viewing didn't even exist yet. It was just two lazy
Electric wire.
He met a self-proclaimed psychic who was so incredibly convincing that the man in black decided to pay them a visit. Dr. Harold Patoff and Russell Targ were the key researchers of the first phase of the Stargate project, and these two were rather interesting people. Harold Patoff, a Stanford University graduate with a PhD in electrical engineering, was renowned for his field in quantum electronics and zero-point energy. He was also a hardcore Scientologist, reaching what was then the top OT7 network. However, Dr. Patoff cut off all ties with the Church of Scientology just a few years into his involvement with the remote viewing program. Patoff was the program's first director, running it from his conception until his retirement in 1985. Also, even though his name is Harold, his colleagues just called him Hal. Hal Patoff's research partner, Russell Targ, was arguably even less conventional. Both legally blind and at the same time
I did it.
avid motorcyclists. Some of the earliest laser research with the
Yes! Yes!
and like Patoff's close relationship with Scientology, Russell Targ
I had to fight like shit to get through that. Alright.
topics. As a child, he read books.
I had to fight like shit to win that one. That shit was crazy.
All of which you came across.
That shit was crazy. I never thought it was gonna end. I didn't know how many waves was coming.
Odd they may have been.
I was whooping their ass. I'm gonna have to use a more powerful suit, man, or I'm gonna have to upgrade when my special is activated because
as a senior research physicist.
I can't be getting ganged up on like that. Let me see.
Also known as SRI. SRI
Let me go on here.
been involved in special access.
We'll have to upgrade this shit right here.
Top secret stuff, but
Right here.
parapsychological. That was until a few
Got them good old suit mods right here.
to a visit from the CIA. In Hal Patoff's 1996 paper titled CIA Initiative
Nah, we need that.
Program at Stanford Research Institute, he recounts the rather obscure beginnings of the project, which began with Patoff confronting a bit of a scientist dilemma. Quote, in early 1972, I was involved in laser research.
We
at
need that.
Stanford Research
Alright.
Institute. At that time, I was also circulating a proposal to obtain a small grant for some research in quantum biology.
Let's just say Defender, Web Slinger, all that. None of this is gonna help me.
Physical theory as we knew it was capable of describing life processes and had
What's all
suggested
this?
methods involving plants.
Collections, I don't need that.
was widely circulated, and a copy was sent to Cleve Baxter in New York City, who was involved in measuring the electrical activity of plants. New York artist Ingo Swann chanced to see
Okay, we all know he finna be a problem.
Baxter's lab and wrote me suggesting that
Oh shit, this
if I
my
were
boy.
interested in investigating the boundary between
What the fuck?
physics
When did
of
he
inanimate
make an appearance on this
I
game?
should consider
This the first one, not the second
the
one.
parapsychological type. End quote.
I'm gonna play this. Lonnie Lincoln, Tombstone. I ain't whooped his ass yet. Boy got a mug only a mother could love. Let's see what else we got here. This dude.
Swan was a visionary
Call him
artist
Blackface.
from New York, who, alongside Russell Targ and Harold Patoff,
Okay, we was doing all that
as
good
the
shit.
co-founder of the Stargate project. He would be the designer of the foundational remote viewing techniques that drove the program, the same ones still used by remote viewers today. Pretty much.
We only got a point. I don't see how.
Inside and out of the project, noted that he had a deep interest in the technical and scientific aspects, which
Is there any way to upgrade this?
as before meeting the two laser physicists, he'd already participated in some laboratory
Oh,
tests.
is there any way to upgrade how quickly it charges? Probably not a way, huh?
Dr. Patoff continues, quote, Swan went on to describe some apparently
What other suits I
successful
got?
experiments
Cause I'm getting tired of this shit.
in which he had participated at Professor
How do I get the other
Gertrude
suits?
laboratory at the City College of New York.
Look at this motherfucker right here. That's kind of cool.
I invited him to visit SOR
Damn.
for a week in June 1972 to demonstrate such effects. Frankly, as much out of personal scientific curiosity as anything
No associated suit power.
Swan's visit, I arranged for access to a well-shielded magnetometer in the physics
King
department
of the
at Stanford
Ring.
University. End quote. As Pitoff goes on to mention,
Also
this
unlocks
first experiment
quad
was a
damage.
complete surprise to Swan, who
Damn, this
no
looks
idea
cool.
could be tested that day and definitely no knowledge of what challenge he'd be up against. A magnetometer is a device that measures.
These suits got powers, nigga. I need a suit with powers.
Swan would be tasked with manipulating the magnetic field.
Bulletproof,
However,
nice.
This was no ordinary magnetometer.
It's quite a few suits we don't have unlocked yet. These ain't got no associated powers. What kind of bullshit is that?
Quadruple shielded pipe.
Yeah, I don't just want no motherfucking
aluminum container
suit, man.
Shield. As you can imagine, this was pretty ideal for testing a person who confidently claimed to be able to produce physical effects with just mental.
You already know I'm keeping a punk rock one.
Ability known as psychokinesis.
This fits my personality. Okay, so boom.
Overwhelming you all with Pitoff's scientific details. I'll let the words of the.
Let's see if there's any evil afoot real quick.
Dr. Kenneth A. Kress tell this part of the story. So
what's this up here?
Classified 1977 report. Parapsychology.
I seen the light shooting up. Where the shit at? Where is it at?
He was taken on a surprise.
Where's the goods?
Superconducting shielded magnetometer being used in quark high-energy particle experiments. The quark experiment required that the magnetometer be as well shielded as technology would allow. Nevertheless, when the subject placed his attention on the interior of the magnetometer, the output signal was visibly distorted, indicating a change in the internal magnetic field. Several other correlations of his mental efforts with signal variations were observed. These variations were never seen before or after the visit. End quote.
Where is?
Later recount that his psychokinetic feat shocked two student researchers so badly that one ran straight out of the room and another stumbled.
Nobody believe him.
Basically, the experiment was a real jaw dropper. In fact, in his paper, Dr. Pitoff even mentions that Swan went on to show off some more. Quote, as if to add insult to injury, he then went on to remote view the interior of the apparatus, rendering by drawing a reasonable facsimile of its rather complex and heretofore unpublished construction. It was this latter feat that impressed me, perhaps even more than.
Where is it?
End quote.
There's something over here.
This experiment wouldn't be formally published until 3 years later. Dr. Pitoff
nigga?
circulate a draft among his colleagues, and one of them must have felt strongly.
Y'all calm the fuck down. I don't want y'all.
He secretly forwarded a copy to the authorities.
With Tele.Health, it's like having a doctor in the family, right at your
Nah, just a guy player. That's all.
Manage your whole health,
Good as shit.
body and mind, all in one place. Connected
Just a
to
cosplayer, dog. Definitely not your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Mind your business. Nope. Alright. Not sure where to find that thing. I don't give a fuck. I'm moving. Let's get it.
Pitoff recounted, quote, in a few short weeks.
I'm not the type of person that has to 100% a game anyway.
With the above report in hand.
Leave some shit unsaid, leave some shit undone, baby. Why not?
My previous background as a naval intelligence officer and then civilian employee at the National Security Agency, NSA, several years earlier.
Word?
They could discuss her
I think I'm getting gypped because I can't find anything.
Told me increasing concern in the intelligence community about the level of effort in Soviet parapsychology being funded by the Soviet security services. By Western scientific standards, the field was considered nonsense by most working scientists.
Where?
As a result, they
Were
on the lookout for a research
Where?
outside of academia that could handle a quiet, low-profile classified investigation, and SRI appeared to fit the bill. End quote.
Oh, there that bitch is. Found you.
Serious. They did want some proof of their own before they put money on it.
Get it up.
The CIA agents insisted that
Lizard's blood.
a multi-day series of tests with
okay, we're out of here.
He was a real deal, and Pitoff agreed to arrange this. Quote, the tests were simple. The CIA visitors simply hiding objects in a box and asking Swan to attempt to describe the contents. The results generated in these experiments are perhaps captured most eloquently by the following example. In one test, Swan said, "I see something small, brown and irregular, sort of like a leaf or something that resembles it, except that it seems very much alive, like it's even moving." The target chosen by one of the visitors turned out to be a small live moth, which indeed did look like a leaf. The integrated results were sufficiently impressive that, in short order, an 8-month, $49,909 biofield measurements program was negotiated as a pilot study. A laser colleague, Russell Targ, who had had a long-time interest and involvement in parapsychology, joined the program. And
I'm out here trying to catch pigeons.
So this was the very beginning, with Dr. Hal Patoff, Russell Targ, and Ingo Swann assigned to this biofield measurements program, which, by the way, was technically the true first name of the Stargate project.
How do I catch that motherfucker?
Dr. Kenneth Press describes Swann's descriptions of the hidden objects as startlingly accurate. However, maybe Swann cheated somehow or got lucky. Even though their money was invested, the CIA still had doubts on the ability to remote view. So they sent their own agents to participate.
How fast can a pigeon be, nigga?
But would they be convinced? Quote, "The CIA contract monitors, ever watchful for possible chicanery, participated as remote viewers themselves in order to critique the protocols. In this role, 3 separate viewers contributed 7 of the 55 viewers, several of striking quality.
Ah, bro, fuck that pigeon.
Comparison of descriptions and drawings to pictures of the associated targets generated by the
Fuck that pigeon.
in their own view.
I promise you, fuck that pigeon. I don't even want to catch it no more.
Monitors came to the conclusion that there was something to remote viewing. See, for example,
I tried.
as some
I don't even know how to catch them.
of the now released final report of the second year of the program.
I'm gonna have to look up how to do it.
Of this capability at SRI has evolved to the point where visiting CIA personnel
Did y'all see me try to catch that fucking pigeon? Fuck that pigeon, right?
have performed well under controlled laboratory.
All right, let's get us another go.
Generated target descriptions of sufficiently high quality to permit blind matching of descriptions to targets by independent judges. End quote. The CIA had the results they needed, and they
Wait.
firsthand.
Wait a minute. Okay.
Before we move on to the real meat of the story, it really can't be emphasized enough how incredibly involved Ingo Swann was in the early stages of the Stargate project, and how important he was to its development. Not only did his psychic feats validate their research, but
I am the Black Fist.
thanks to his own intense scientific interest.
This sounds familiar.
Psychic in search of
My
understanding
boy on his Joker shit today.
serious mission to hone his techniques. During his time at SRI, Swann would develop several remote viewing theories and methods. And
Okay, I can win challenge tokens.
to both Stargate
Okay.
and remote viewers alike. The first was his 6 stages of remote viewing, which was essentially a progressive process leading to increased psychic contact with the target, which I'll explain.
What?
Stage 1 is major gestalt. So, the word gestalt means a unified whole, where the individual parts can't really be distinguished from the whole picture. In a remote viewing sense, this first stage is a very general visual understanding of the target. For example, an ice-covered mountain, or a land surrounded by water. Stage 2 is sensory contact, where the remote viewer begins to take in sensory details, describing the target through touch,
Go, nigga.
taste, sound, and smell.
Fuck.
A cold sensation, a windswept feeling, or the rotten egg stench of sulfur. Stage 3 is dimension, motion, mobility, which occurs when the viewer can psychically move around the target.
Go.
Observe,
Run.
for example, floating across the interior of a building, or rising up for a panoramic view of the site. Stage 4 is quantitative aspects.
Oh shit, 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 oh
You
shit.
can observe and accurately count the number of things. For example, 5 torpedoes, or 3 large buildings.
We did it.
As a single facility. Stage 5 is qualitative aspects.
Woo! Fuck you, dude.
Understand the target's inherent qualities. For example, a living organism, scientific research, or a military setting. Stage 6 is analytical aspects, where the viewer takes the qualitative aspects of the previous stage and analyzes them to produce more specific descriptions of the target. For example, a Soviet submarine, a biomedical research facility, or a nuclear weapons store. Amy Swan's 6-stage method was
Ooh, get him.
It was also a sort of self-hypnosis technique that even the best viewers would follow to maintain a consistent methodology.
I think they did a better job on the second one. I don't like the fact that all the suits don't have powers. That's upsetting. Every suit should have a special skill. But I'm trying to beat this game so I go play 2 because apparently you get to use Venom powers, which is pretty badass. Oh, buddy.
To act as a signal source, using their presence to guide the remote viewer to that location. Obviously, this presented a serious problem if the CIA hoped to spy on foreign targets. But coordinate remote viewing would be the solution. As explained by Dr. Katoff, Swan proposed a series of experiments in which the target was designated not by sending a beacon person to the target site, but rather by the use of geographical coordinates, latitude and longitude in degrees, minutes, and seconds. And needless to say, this proposal seemed even more outrageous than ordinary remote viewing. The difficulties in taking this proposal seriously, designing protocols to eliminate the possibility of a combination of
These superhero stories is ours. A lot of them comes from broken home, drug abuse, their parents got killed, growing up in the hood and shit, no mama, no daddy and shit. This is a black story.
Scanning by coordinate eventually provided us with sufficient evidence.
A lot of these superheroes have negroid issues. What's up, baby? Yeah, I work out. Damn right.
Short for scanning by coordinate would be Stargate's first code name when this initial pilot program was upgraded to the status of Special Access, aka Top Secret, in 1973. Simply put, the coordinate remote viewing method was a breakthrough for both the CIA and SRI. Not only significantly expanded the scope of what remote viewing could possibly accomplish.
Greatest foe. Who is Spider-Man's greatest foe?
Coordinate remote viewing, also known as
I guess that'd be Kingpin, right?
Strange, to say the least. In this method, the
his greatest foe. Who would his greatest foe be?
Latitude and longitude, written in degrees.
I'll know that fuck when I see him. What's up, baby?
Of course.
Hey. Go on here. Let me get some of them shakes in. Hey. Hey. All right, I gotta go. Y'all drunk any damn way.
The session begins. What's absolutely wild, though, is that the remote viewer is typically not given access to a map
Big bruh.
of a globe. They're simply supposed to remote
Big bruh.
based on the coordinates.
What you got on, Doc?
Now, I know that sounds completely
What you got on, Doc?
Obviously, the remote viewer is trained to read and understand coordinates, but
Hey, bruh.
how are they supposed to use them?
Your suit look like shit. Alright.
So, this is surprisingly obscure info, but I managed to dig up a declassified CIA document titled Coordinate Remote Viewing, Theory and Dynamics, which explains the absolutely bizarre concept of how this works. And fair warning, this is some pretty brain-melting stuff. But despite that, the official document begins with a reassuring message. Quote, the basic theory of how CRV, coordinate remote viewing, works is logical and is easily comprehended, even by a non-psychic.
He drunk in a some bitch right here.
Remain unanswered. The fact is, the stuff works.
What she look like?
The CRV theory would follow along these lines. Somewhere, perhaps in the unconscious mind, there exists what we will label.
It's Dance and Water World ending, boy.
The Matrix knows no boundaries and has no limitations. It contains all information about all things. It could be thought of as omnipotent, or you could think of it as a database, etc.
I'm not gonna show you my moves right now, bruh, because it will blow your fucking mind. All right, anyway.
Three-dimensional box. See illustration 2. The patterns within the matrix each pose and radiate their own energy.
Nah.
This energy is emitted
They will let me do it. All right.
or signal line, which is peculiar to that specific pattern. This pattern has other names by which it is known. It can be referred to as a thought ball.
They in here kicking it, man. I love the detail in this game, man.
Can be described as
I mean, really. Uh-oh. Here this fucker is.
See illustration 3.
It's not this guy?
A set of encrypted coordinates. For example, 31 degrees.
It's not this fuck right here?
20 degrees, 16 minutes north. In very basic terms,
Green Goblin. Of course. Of course the Green Goblin, my greatest foe. Where is this fucker?
And this response will manifest itself.
He's dressed like the Green Guy. He has to be. That has to be my greatest foe.
Somewhat subconsciously drawn on a piece of paper.
Oh, that's that same wild motherfucker right there. All right, boom. Move.
Has been psychically registered.
Bunch of drunk ass niggas. Move. Move.
On the ideogram that indicates that the viewer is receiving the signal line of the gestalt.
Him.
The viewer will begin receiving impressions or perceptions of the target area, key to the specific issues he is concerned with. For example, structure, terrain, emotions, etc. See illustration 5. What has been discussed here is
Spider.
much cannot be explained, measured, or
quantified
to the standards demanded by the scientific community. While analytical data may not be in abundance to support this theory, the session reports historical and experimental data exist to substantiate the fact that CRV...
Fool, is you out your mind?
Hey, what's wrong with you? I worked on that helmet for a week.
So I don't expect you to understand really any of this right now. And don't worry about it. The most successful remote viewers of Stargate never really understood it either. And no, I didn't leave...
Well, motherfucker, you shot projectiles at me. All right, anyway.
It really is just that esoteric. But regardless of how coordinate remote viewing...
Don't get mad about a helmet, bitch. You shot rockets at me. All right.
The fact is, this stuff works, which you'll see serious evidence of in just a minute. And this is why, very early on, the CIA decided to focus almost all of Stargate's resources on remote viewing, specifically. Speaking of remote viewing, though, Hal Patoff and Russell Targ were actually the ones who first coined this term. They wanted to distinguish it from clairvoyance, which is...
Nigga, I got a way up there.
Receiving information through extrasensory perception. So they thought of remote viewing as a sort of subcategory of clairvoyance, with a special emphasis on uncreative and emotionless sensory data. The goal was not to perceive all planes of existence or explore the truth of the matrix. Remote viewing was supposed to be a structure to observe things in the physical world as we know it. However, as the two laser physicists would soon learn, remote viewing would never be that straightforward.
Whatever you do it for less. At Harbor Freight.
I'm looking for Isaac Delaney.
During his time in the Stargate project, the psychic Ender Swan demonstrated a range of incredible abilities, from psychokinesis to astral projection, and of course, remote viewing. In most documentation of the Stargate project, two key psychics are always named, and Swan is one of them.
Oh, goodness gracious.
A former police officer named Pat Price.
Get the fuck out the way.
A broad range of psychic powers as Swan, who we often worked with, but he was, without a doubt, the most gifted remote viewer in the entire history of the Stargate project. As Russell Targ recounted in his memoir, Remote Viewing at Stanford Research Institute, in 1970, quote,
are they dead ass?
a gift to our research at SRI. One day in June of 1973, Pat called Hal Patoff to say that he had been following our work, and felt that he had been doing that kind of psychic thing for years, catching crooks when he was the police commissioner in Burbank, California. He told us that he would sit with the dispatcher in the police station.
What the fuck? Come on, man.
A crime reported, he would psychically scan the city and send a car to the spot where he saw a frightened man hiding. Our impression after we began working with Price was that he lived his life as
It's too late. I done already used my powers.
We worked with other talented individuals, but no one with the continuous psychic awareness.
I ain't feeling the rap music they playing in the background at all. I feel like I'm being forced to listen to this man's track.
Shocking revelations such as the ability to see across time came from the experiment.
There's no way I would have let them get through that door. I would have webbed that shit up so quick.
And his successes.
Oh no, them guns real as hell.
Evidence that the phenomenon actually exists. According to the declassified CIA report made by the first project officer of scanning.
Damn, I almost let dude die for a second there.
During the summer of 1973, SRI continued working informally with a CIA officer on a remote viewing experiment, which eventually stimulated more CIA-sponsored investigations of parapsychology. The target was a vacation property in the eastern United States. The experiment began with the passing of nothing more than the geographic coordinates of the vacation property to the SRI physicists, who in turn
is he dead ass?
Two subjects, one of whom was
get your ass off me, man.
No maps
Everybody
were permitted,
okay?
and the subjects were asked to give an immediate response of what they remotely viewed at these coordinates. The subjects came back.
Well, y'all take it easy. I got shit to do.
Apparently missed. They both talked about a military-like facility. Nevertheless, a striking correlation of the two independent descriptions was noted. The correlation caused the officer to drive to the site and investigate in more detail.
I crawl through a lot of ventilation shafts in this game. Okay, boom.
Soon discovered a sensitive government installation just a few miles from the...
What are they talking about, that bullshit down there?
This discovery led to a request to have Price provide information concerning the workings of this particular site. The evaluation was, as usual, mixed. Pat Price, who had no military or intelligence background, provided a list of project titles associated with current and past activities, including one of extreme sensitivity. Also, the code name of the site was provided. Other information concerning the physical layout of the site was accurate. Some information, such as the names of the people of the site,
ain't like that.
proved incorrect. End quote. Because Price
when they start disappearing, boy.
Several classified projects containing a locked filing cabinet underground, among other intimate details such as the exact code name of the secret government facility, which in theory it should have never known even existed. And this triggered a serious security investigation to find out how this information was leaked. But the result was inconclusive. There was no conceivable way Price, Targ, or Patel could have obtained any of those details. So this success resulted in a massive wave of funding, increasing the scope of the project and the CIA's first serious remote viewing operation, which we'll get into in a minute. But before we do, that last part of Dr. Press's account, that much of the information provided by Pat Price was incorrect, introduces one of the most fundamental truths of remote viewing. That the data it provides is extremely unreliable by nature. Some details may be strikingly accurate, but most of them are flawed.
Doing good.
You might think about it like noise on a radio station or fuzz on a TV channel. Except, in the case of remote viewing, there's no way to tell good or bad information apart. The final director of the Stargate project, the nuclear...
I got you, Delaney. Don't worry, dog. I'm on their ass.
That, quote, there's a concept in statistics called non-stationary.
Don't you worry, dog. I am on their ass.
It goes in unpredictable ways, end quote. Interestingly, this non-stationary problem seems to affect not just remote viewing, but all psychic abilities in the scientific setting. It is clear the parapsychologist J.G. Pratt argued that parapsychology, unlike the conventional,
shit.
would never be able to
Blackface.
replicable experiments. He stated that psychic abilities were real, but deliberate control would forever elude the practitioner. Therefore, the most convincing evidence
You made my dude white.
will be repeated. This tricky dilemma would cause great
Oh, no.
Stargate problems. Many of those who control the funding and the ultimate fate of Stargate were those who had little
You can't handle the power, fool.
evidence, and instead expected that the remote either worked or it didn't. That if the information wasn't accurate, as if the viewer had actually been there in the flesh, the experiment should be considered a failure, as was the conclusion of many evaluators. That does raise the question, just how accurate does a remote viewing need to be? What percentage or frequency of correct versus incorrect? Where is the line drawn between a real deal and simply a lucky guess? One of the most important principles of the scientific method is reproducibility.
I thought that was still a cutscene, dog. They gotta be better. The transitions is too smooth, dog.
So how can it ever be accepted as a scientific fact? One of the two primary evaluators of the CIA's final Stargate assessment was the statistician, Dr. Jessica Ox, and she provided this answer in her report. Quote, few human capabilities are perfectly
Woo!
For example, even the best hitters in the major
Show
baseball
dumb ass down.
cannot hit on demand. Nor can we predict when someone will hit or when they will score a home run. In fact, we cannot even predict whether or not a home run will occur in a particular game. That does not mean that home runs don't exist. Scientific evidence in the statistical realm is based on replication of the same average performance or relationship over the long run. A good baseball hitter will not hit the ball exactly the same proportion of times in each game, but should be relatively
That's all of them, right?
over the long run.
Gotta find Lee.
The same should be true of psychic functioning. The anticipated levels of functioning may vary based on the
It's gonna open the door regularly.
and the conditions, just as it does in baseball. But given players of similar ability, tested
Not
under
karate
similar
kick that bitch
conditions,
open.
the results should be replicable over the long run. In any area of science, evidence based on statistics comes from comparing what actually happened to what should have happened by chance. Now, I have more to say on Stargate statistics, but for now, let's return back to Pat Price.
Do I?
His next project remains one of the most famous of his
Oh no.
career. At this point in time, pressures were high to demonstrate the intelligence gathering potential of remote viewing in a real operation with national defenders. So in July of 1974, Pat Price was selected for the CIA's very first operational remote viewing assignment.
I don't want to kick your asses.
Of a secret Soviet nuclear lab, with photographs taken by a U.S. spy satellite. At the time, this was the longest distance remote viewing ever performed in a scientific setting, at 10,000 miles away from Earth. In the words of the project officer, Dr. Kress, quote, the target was the Semi-Palatines Unidentified Research and Development Facility, 3, URDF-3. The experimental collection would use our best subject, Pat Price. From experience, it was obvious that Price produced bad data as well as good. I reviewed the photos of URDF-3 and chose two features which, if Price described them,
Sit your big ass down.
partially worked. These features were the tall crane and the four structures resembling oil well derricks. The experiment began with my branch chief Targ from a motel. Later, at SRI, Price was briefed by Targ and
I'll
Patel.
explain later.
Since
Right now,
Targ and
we need to find a
Patel
doctor.
And this is why it's better to be lean than to be big and bulky. You just saw it.
Initially, Price
Okay, anyway.
geographic coordinates.
They're about landmarks, earn landmark tokens.
The location of URDF-3 and told it was a Soviet RD&E test site. Overnight, he produced the drawing on the bottom right of Figure 1B. Price further mentioned this was a damn big crane because he saw a person walk by and he only came up to the axles of the
I'll let you know if it
wheels.
works.
This performance caught my attention, but with 2 more days of work, we never heard about the derricks. He did nevertheless produce some amazing descriptions, like buildings then under construction, spherical tank sections, and the crane. End
Yeah,
quote.
but so did Lee.
Here's what Price saw in his own words. Quote,
Lee corrupted him.
I
and made him
am
kill
lying on my
himself.
back, on the roof of a 2- or 3-story brick building. It's a sunny day. The sun feels good. There's the most amazing thing. There's a giant gantry crane moving back and forth over my head. As I drift up in the air and look down, it seems to be riding on a track with one rail on each side of the building. I've never seen anything like that. End quote. This particular viewing assignment took several days for Price to complete, in order to drew a number of items confirmed by the spy satellite photos, as Cross mentioned. But the crane was definitely the most convincing. This was a humongous...
We finna get into that DL Field Chronicle in a minute, man.
Each leg equipped with 2 large wheels for a total of 8 wheels.
Time to pay him a visit.
I mean, you can take a close look yourself. The satellite photo is on the left and Price's drawing is on the right. This was carefully controlled by the CIA, and no one at SRI had access to the photos, let alone any information on the site itself, beyond the fact that it was a Soviet research facility. Dr. Kress continues, quote, 2 analysts, a photo interpreter at IAS and a nuclear analyst at Los Alamos.
I feel like I'm just doing all the story mode shit at this point.
Price's description of the crane was accurate. The nuclear analyst wrote that 1. He, the subject, actually saw it through remote viewing. Or 2. He was informed what to draw by someone knowledgeable.
Alright, brother.
But again, since there was so much bad information mixed in with the good, the overall result was not considered useful. The CIA officers concluded that since there were no controlled experiments...
I most certainly do not, because I'm a dickhead. I'm a prick, and because of that, I have an inability to see fun.
...abilities through intelligence collection.
Alrighty then, so can I go in here?
Investigation from a disinterested consultant, a theoretical physicist with a broad intellectual background. After being acquainted with the CIA data, his conclusion was...
Nice.
Body of reliable experimental evidence points to the inescapable conclusion.
Is this a lab or something? What the fuck did I say?
Does exist as a real phenomenon, albeit characterized by rarity and lack of reliability.
Okay.
By a competent scientist.
I don't get it. Alright.
Continue serious inquiry into parapsychology. End quote.
What did this sign say?
Despite the mixed results from URDF-3,
Aristocratic mind.
after these events, that an audio spying team,
The musical.
CIA, heard about Pat Price and his
Great stimulation. Simulator.
And that their superiors would give Price another shot. The targets they suggested were 2 foreign embassies. Now, as you might imagine, installing audio spying systems in a foreign embassy was an extremely difficult and risky job, particularly because the interior layouts of these buildings...
Alright, y'all, I gotta take a quick shit, so we're gonna have to pause this for a minute.
So, how accurately could a remote...
Alright.
Dr. Kress recounts, quote,
Gotta take a quick
the
shit.
interiors of the 2 foreign embassies were known to